Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the people. Let's get it. Cybersecurity 202 FBI renews attack on encryption ahead of another possible attack on Capitol Hill. This article is of this year. It's from March the 4th. The head of FBI renewed calls for special law enforcement access to encrypted technologies in response to recent attack of domestic extremism. I call it domestic terrorism. So long story short, the government wants to actually get keys to backdoor so they can look at your emails, your web servers and all this. But if they create a backdoor, everybody knows the Chinese are going to find the backdoor, India is going to find the backdoor, all our adversaries and frenemies are going to find the backdoor. So FBI Director for Christopher Wray and other FBI officials made the argument to senators over 2 days of a hearing about the law enforcement efforts leading up to January 6th Capitol attack. They highlighted the use of technology by pro-Trump mob that stormed the Capitol as some perpetrators used encryption technology to plan and execute an assault. We're moving more and more in a direction where if we don't come up collectively with some kind of solution, it's not going to be a matter of how bulletproof the legal process is or how horrific the crime is or how heartbreaking the victims are. Will not be able to get access to the contents and evidence that we need to protect the American people. Wray told members of the Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday, I think we will all rule the day. Warning comes as Capitol Police warn of a possible plot by a militant group by today's breach of the Capitol. Some of the following extremist ideology of QAnon falsely claims that former President Trump will return to the White House on March the 4th, while unknown chatter around the event is less than around the January 6th attack. Researchers are ruling out a smaller attack being planned on encrypted channels. Their colleague reports. Ray's first major jab in encryption under the Biden administration is just the latest marker in years-long struggle between the tech companies and the government over whether law enforcement should have special access to secure data. Wray and other law enforcement leaders charged that end-to-end encryption limits the ability to access critical evidence and detect crimes. The risk has gotten worse as more and more technology companies adopt the technology, which protesters data so only the senders can access it. No third party, including tech companies offering this service that sent the data, can even access the material. So, long story short overview, all social media companies are using it. All small companies are using encryption. So the government believes the internet, they calling it going dark, where it'd be super hard for the government to get access to data and messages and emails. So the question is that a good thing or a bad thing? Many top security experts argued there's no way to provide special access to law enforcement with also creating tech vulnerabilities. Hack could easily be exploited by the bad actors. So once again, if the tech companies put a backdoor in there, the bad guys are going to find that backdoor. Wray denied that the government is looking for such a backdoor into technology, and its unnamed technologists have also assured possibilities that the tech companies to build a way to have legal access when confronted with the proper legal authorities. We're not going to have a key. We are not asking for backdoors. That's a myth. That's an urban legend that has been directed our way. Experts say window dressing for the same argument law enforcement has been making over half of a decade. Rion, this is very troubling because it's pushing the narrative that encryption is somehow responsible for 1/6. It wasn't the rioters plotting in the wide open. Still, user-only access encryption is less despicable term than warrant-proof encryption, and is an interesting shift. FBI Director Wright's statement regarding encryption yesterday shows a fundamental lack of understanding of what encryption backdoor is and the security risks posed by both personnel and national security. Polk, Senior Policy Advisor with the Internet Society, a global nonprofit focused on Internet policies and development. Any method that gives third-party access to encrypted data is a backdoor, a vulnerability that weakens security and privacy millions of Americans rely on each day, and including members of our armed forces, Polk said. Some lawmakers are also opposed. While Director Wray has long campaigned to weaken encryption and mandate government encryption backdoor, I urge Biden and Harris administration to turn the page on a misguided effort. Ron Williams, Democrat of Oregon, said in a statement, "It's especially short-sighted following the devastating SolarWinds hack, which showed how urgently our country needs to secure our systems." So that is the truth with the SolarWinds hack. If you put the backdoor in there, that's definitely going to weaken a lot of government security systems, in my opinion. Opening of giving law enforcement special access to encrypted technologies also points law enforcement already has ample tools to access most cell phones, including data that can unlock phones, make access of encrypted messages easier. Wright claims in a written statement that the expansion of encryption will continue to diminish and ultimately overwhelm state and local capacity to investigate even common crimes. So once again, what's the privacy of that, right? If the government has a backdoor to every system in encryption, like I said, what is the privacy of that? And like the other senator said, that's actually a vulnerability to your computer system. There's currently no definitive data on how many law enforcement cases go unsolved because of encryption. A 2018 internal investigation showed Rev repeatedly cited numbers of Congress that inflated the numbers of devices police couldn't access because of encryption. The January 6th attack on Capitol Hill, as well as attempted plot kidnapping of Michigan Gretchen Whitmer, as two recent incidents where attackers used encrypted technologies. Experts point out that law enforcement was able to find out both plots ahead of the time without the backdoor. The Biden administration has not announced a formal policy on encryption. So that's it. Once again, in short, the White House attack on encryption, or I guess mostly the FBI attack on encryption, the Biden-Harris administration hasn't put out a formal statement on that. So once again, cybersecurity for the people. Please subscribe.